Zoe stood alone on the empty stadium steps, her cap and gown fluttering in the wind like a forgotten flag, as the cheers of her classmates echoed mockingly in the distance. "You disgust us," her mother's voice replayed in her head from that final phone call, the words slicing deeper than any knife. But as tears blurred her vision, a stranger's hand touched her shoulder, whispering, "You're not alone anymore, and neither is this city." Zoe Harper had always been the golden child of her small-town family in suburban Ohio, the kind of girl who aced her exams, volunteered at the local animal shelter, and dreamed of making a difference in the world. Born into a conservative household where Sunday church services were non-negotiable and family dinners revolved around discussions of traditional values, she learned early on to keep her true self hidden. It wasn't until she moved to the vibrant chaos of New York City for college that the cracks in her facade began to show. NYU's campus was a whirlwind of diversity, students from every corner of the globe, protesting for rights she had only whispered about in her diary. That's where she met Abigail Reyes, a fiery journalism major with a laugh that could light up the darkest dorm room. Abigail was everything Zoe wasn't. Unapologetically out, with rainbow pins on her backpack and a tattoo of a phoenix on her wrist symbolizing her own coming-out journey from a strict Latino family in Texas. They collided literally, in a crowded coffee shop near Washington Square Park. Zoe, buried in her textbooks, spilled her latte all over Abigail's notebook. "Watch where you're, oh wow, you're cute when you're flustered," Abigail teased, her dark eyes sparkling with mischief. What started as an apology over replacement coffee turned into late-night talks about dreams, fears, and the quiet ache of hiding who you love. As their friendship deepened into something more, Zoe felt alive for the first time. Stolen kisses in the shadows of Central Park, whispered confessions under the glow of city lights. These moments became her sanctuary. But back home, the weight of expectation loomed. Her parents, Tom and Linda Harper, were pillars of their community. He a high school football coach, she a homemaker who baked pies for every church bake sale. They adored Zoe, or at least the version of her they knew. When she finally mustered the courage to come out over a tense Thanksgiving video call, the silence was deafening. "This is just a phase, sweetie," her mother said, voice trembling. "You've been influenced by that liberal city." Her father hung up without a word. The rejection stung, but Zoe pushed forward, throwing herself into her studies in social work. She wanted to help kids like her, LGBTQ youth navigating hostile worlds. Abigail was her rock, encouraging her to join campus pride events and even start a support group for queer students from conservative backgrounds. "Family isn't just blood," Abigail would say, wrapping her arms around Zoe. "It's the people who show up for you." Little did they know how prophetic those words would become. As graduation approached, Zoe clung to a sliver of hope. She sent her family invitations, pouring her heart into a letter explaining how much their presence would mean. "I've worked so hard for this," she wrote. "Please, let's celebrate together." Weeks passed with no response. Abigail suggested they plan a small celebration just for the two of them. A picnic in Prospect Park, maybe some cheap champagne. But Zoe couldn't shake the emptiness. "What if they don't come?" she whispered one night, curled up in Abigail's arms. The day before the ceremony, her phone buzzed with a text from her younger brother. "Mike, Mom and Dad aren't coming. They said it's too hard right now." Zoe's world shattered. She collapsed onto the floor of their tiny apartment, sobs racking her body. Abigail held her, murmuring words of comfort, but the pain was raw, unfiltered. How could the people who raised her abandon her on the biggest day of her life? That night, fueled by hurt and defiance, Zoe posted a vulnerable thread on social media. "My family skipped my NYU graduation because I'm gay. If anyone's free tomorrow, come celebrate with a stranger who could use some love." She hit send, not expecting much, just a way to vent. What she didn't know was that Abigail, seeing the post, shared it with her journalism network. Friends retweeted, influencers amplified, and by morning the story had gone viral. Local news picked it up. Heartbroken graduate seeks stand-in family after rejection. Zoe woke to hundreds of notifications, her inbox flooded with messages of support. Strangers from across the city promised to show up, turning her personal heartbreak into a beacon of solidarity. As the ceremony loomed, Zoe dressed in her cap and gown, nerves twisting in her stomach. Abigail squeezed her hand. "No matter what, I'm here." They arrived at the stadium, and Zoe's breath caught. The stands, usually filled with families, buzzed with an unexpected energy. Signs waved. "Proud of you, Zoe. Love wins." People she didn't know cheered as she walked in, their faces alight with genuine warmth. It was overwhelming, a tidal wave of acceptance crashing over the void left by her family. But amid the joy, doubt crept in. Was this pity? A fleeting internet moment? As names were called, Zoe approached the stage, her heart pounding. When Zoe Harper echoed through the speakers, the roar was deafening, not just from her classmates, but from the sea of strangers who had become her chosen family. Tears streamed down her face as she accepted her diploma, glancing at Abigail in the front row, who blew her a kiss. After the ceremony, the real magic unfolded. An impromptu gathering formed in the park nearby, with food trucks donating meals and musicians playing uplifting tunes. Zoe mingled, hearing stories that mirrored her own. A trans teen disowned by parents, an elderly gay couple who had fought for rights in the Stonewall era. "You reminded us why we keep fighting," one woman said, hugging her tightly. Yet as the sun set, Zoe felt a pang of unresolved grief. Her phone remained silent from home. Abigail pulled her aside. "This twist? It's not just about today. It's about tomorrow." Zoe nodded, leaning into her embrace. For the first time, she believed in a future where love could heal even the deepest wounds. The viral wave didn't stop at graduation. Overnight, Zoe's story became a symbol of resilience in the face of familial rejection. National outlets like CNN and the New York Times ran features. From isolation to inspiration. How one gay graduate united a city. Interviews poured in, but Zoe hesitated. "I don't want to be a poster child," she told Abigail over breakfast in their Brooklyn apartment. "I just wanted my family there." Abigail, ever the journalist, saw the bigger picture. This could help so many others. Think about the kids reading this feeling less alone. Reluctantly, Zoe agreed to a few spots. On a morning talk show, she shared her journey with poise, her voice steady despite the lump in her throat. "Coming out shouldn't cost you your family," she said, eyes glistening. The response was electric. Donations flooded in for LGBTQ youth charities, and Zoe found herself at the center of a movement. She started a nonprofit, Chosen Families, aimed at connecting queer individuals with supportive networks. But fame brought shadows. Trolls emerged online spewing hate. Attention seeker. Disgrace to her parents. Zoe tried to ignore it, but the words echoed her mother's rejection. Worse, cracks appeared in her relationship with Abigail. Abigail's career skyrocketed from the exposure. She landed a gig at a major news site, covering social justice beats. Late nights at the office left Zoe alone, stewing in her emotions. "You're always out there fighting for everyone else," Zoe snapped one evening after Abigail canceled dinner plans. "What about us?" Abigail sighed, rubbing her temples. "This is us, Zoe. Your story opened doors for me. For both of us." The argument simmered unresolved, as they fell into an uneasy silence. Deep down, Zoe feared Abigail was pulling away, drawn to the spotlight that Zoe's pain had ignited. Back in Ohio, the Harpers weren't immune to the buzz. Linda scrolled through Facebook, seeing photos of Zoe surrounded by adoring crowds. "Look what she's done," she murmured to Tom, who grunted from his armchair. Mike, now a college freshman himself, confronted them. "You missed out on something amazing. Zoe's changing lives." Tom exploded. "She's parading our private business. We raised her better." But Linda's resolve wavered. She secretly watched Zoe's interviews, tears falling as she saw the daughter she loved thriving despite the hurt. Months passed and Zoe's life stabilized. Chosen Families hosted its first event, a gala in Manhattan, drawing celebrities and activists. Abigail emceed, her charisma shining. Zoe watched from the wings, pride swelling, but a nagging doubt lingered. During a quiet moment, Abigail confessed, "I've been offered a job in DC covering politics full-time." Zoe's heart sank. "What about us?" "New York. It's an opportunity one can't pass up," Abigail replied, eyes pleading. "We can make long-distance work." But Zoe saw the hesitation, the unspoken truth. Abigail was outgrowing their bubble. The gala ended in triumph, but Zoe left feeling adrift. The betrayal came subtly at first. Zoe discovered Abigail had been confiding in a colleague, Elena, a sharp-witted editor with a shared passion for stories. Text popped up on Abigail's phone. Can't wait for our late-night brainstorms. Jealousy flared, but Zoe pushed it down. Then at a networking event she overheard Elena joking, Abigail's the real star here. That graduation story was gold. Pity it started with such drama. The words hit like a punch. Was Abigail using her? That night, confrontation erupted. Did you share my post to boost your career? Zoe demanded, voice breaking. Abigail faltered. At first, maybe a little. But it was for you, for us. Zoe stormed out, the trust fractured. Alone in a hotel room, Zoe spiraled. Calls from home went unanswered. Her parents' silence was a fresh wound. She reached out to Mike, who revealed, Mom's been crying a lot. She misses you. For the first time, Zoe considered reconciliation, but pride held her back. Abigail showed up the next day, flowers in hand. I messed up. I got caught up in the momentum, but I love you, Zoe. Not the story, you. They talked for hours, tears flowing, rebuilding bridges. We both need to heal, Abigail admitted. Zoe nodded, forgiving but wary. As winter blanketed the city, Zoe focused on her work. Chosen families expanded, opening chapters in other states. She mentored a young lesbian teen, Sarah, whose story mirrored hers, disowned after coming out. You're proof it gets better, Sarah said, hugging her. Those moments grounded Zoe, reminding her of her purpose. But drama lurked. An anonymous tip to the media alleged Abigail had exaggerated parts of Zoe's story for clicks. Headlines screamed, was the viral graduation a hoax? Zoe confronted Abigail, who swore innocence. It's probably trolls, she said. Investigation revealed Elena as the source, jealous of Abigail's rise. The betrayal stung, but it united them. Abigail quit her job, choosing integrity over ambition. I'm staying here with you. Healing began slowly. Zoe wrote a letter to her parents. I forgive you, but I need you to see me. No response came, but Mike hinted at change. Dad's been quiet, thinking. Spring brought renewal. Zoe and Abigail planned a trip to Ohio, a tentative step toward mending. As they boarded the train, Zoe felt a mix of fear and hope. Whatever happens, we face it together, Abigail whispered. The train ride to Ohio was a tense blur of rolling landscapes and unspoken anxieties. Zoe stared out the window, her hand clasped in Abigail's, drawing strength from the warmth. What if they slam the door in our faces? She murmured. Abigail squeezed back. Then we tried. That's more than they deserve right now. Arriving in the familiar suburb, the air smelled of fresh-cut grass and nostalgia. Childhood bike rides, backyard barbecues. But the Harper house loomed like a judgment. Mike answered the door, his face lighting up. Cease. You made it. He hugged Zoe fiercely, then nodded at Abigail. Nice to finally meet the woman who stole her heart. Inside, the atmosphere was thick. Tom sat rigidly in his recliner, avoiding eye contact, while Linda bustled in the kitchen, her movements frantic. Dinner's almost ready, she called, voice strained. The meal was awkward. Small talk skirting the elephant in the room. How's work? Tom grunted. Zoe described chosen families, her passion evident. Linda's eyes softened. Sounds meaningful. After plates were cleared, Zoe couldn't hold back. Why didn't you come to graduation? I needed you. Tears welled. Tom shifted uncomfortably. We were ashamed. Not of you, of ourselves, for not knowing how to handle it. Abigail interjected gently. Love isn't about handling. It's about accepting. The room fell silent. Linda broke it. We've been watching your interviews. You're so brave. Tom cleared his throat. I was wrong. Football taught me about team. Family should be the same. It wasn't a full apology, but it was a start. Zoe felt a crack in the wall, emotions surging. Back in New York, the reconciliation inspired Zoe. She poured energy into her nonprofit, organizing a national conference on family acceptance. Abigail, now freelancing, documented it all. But shadows returned when Sarah, her mentee, faced crisis. Her parents evicted her after discovering her girlfriend. Zoe took her in, the apartment buzzing with youthful energy. This is what family looks like, Zoe told Abigail, who smiled but seemed distant. The real conflict brewed subtly. Abigail received another DC offer, better than before. It's my dream job, she confessed one night. Zoe felt betrayed anew. You said you'd stay. Arguments escalated. You're holding me back, Abigail yelled. And you're running from us. Zoe shot back. In the heat, Abigail packed a bag. I need space. She left for a friend's couch, leaving Zoe shattered. Days blurred into loneliness. Sarah tried to comfort her. She'll come back. But doubt festered. Zoe threw herself into work, but the conference loomed. A reminder of what she'd built with Abigail. Then a bombshell. Elena, seeking revenge, leaked private emails twisting Abigail's words to paint her as opportunistic. Social media erupted. Abigail used Zoe's pain for fame? Zoe's phone blew up with accusations. Heartbroken, Zoe confronted Abigail at a coffee shop. Did you ever love me? Or was it the story? Abigail's eyes filled with tears. It started with the story, but it became us. Elena's lying. I turned down jobs for you. Proof emerged. Abigail had declined offers months ago. The betrayal was Elena's, not hers. They embraced, sobs mingling. I was scared, Abigail admitted. Of losing you, of everything. Reunited, they faced the backlash together. A joint statement clarified the truth, turning the tide. Support poured in stronger than before. The conference was a triumph. Panels on forgiveness, workshops on communication. Zoe's parents surprised her by attending virtually, Tom even speaking. I failed my daughter once. Don't make my mistake. But drama peaked when Sarah's parents showed up unannounced, demanding she return home. This lifestyle is wrong, her father bellowed. Zoe stepped in. Love isn't a lifestyle, it's who we are. A heated debate ensued, emotions raw. Abigail filmed discreetly, turning it into a powerful op-ed. Sarah chose to stay, but the encounter shook everyone. As summer waned, Zoe and Abigail deepened their bond. Therapy helped unpack traumas, Zoe's abandonment fears, Abigail's ambition guilt. They volunteered together, mentoring couples in similar straits. We're stronger because of the storms, Zoe said during a quiet picnic. Yet a final twist loomed. Mike called. Mom's sick, breast cancer. Zoe rushed home, Abigail by her side. The hospital room was sterile. Linda frail but smiling. I'm proud of you both. Tom hugged Abigail. Welcome to the family. In vulnerability, walls crumbled. Zoe held her mother's hand, forgiveness flowing. Back in New York, life balanced. Chosen families thrived. Abigail balanced career and love. But whispers of doubt remained. Could they weather more? Fall painted the city in hues of amber and crimson, mirroring the evolving tapestry of Zoe's life. With Linda's diagnosis, trips to Ohio became routine. Chemotherapy sessions were grueling, but they forged unlikely bonds. Abigail charmed Tom with stories of New York adventures, while Linda confided in Zoe about her own youthful regrets. I wish I'd been braver, Linda whispered during one visit. Zoe squeezed her hand. You are now. The support from the city never faded. Fundraisers for Linda's treatment drew crowds, blending Zoe's worlds. Sarah, now thriving in college, organized one, paying it forward. Amid the positivity, tension simmered. Abigail's DC dreams resurfaced. A prestigious fellowship beckoned. It's only a year, she pleaded. Zoe, fearing loss, lashed out. Go then. Chase your spotlight. The words hung heavy, a chasm widening. Betrayal struck from an unexpected angle. Mike, struggling with his own identity, confessed to Zoe. I'm bi, but Dad can't know. Then, in a moment of panic, he outed himself to Tom during an argument. Tom reacted poorly. Not you too. Mike fled to New York, crashing with Zoe and Abigail. The house buzzed with chaos. Mike's sobs, Abigail's mediations. Zoe confronted her father over the phone. You promised change. Tom hung up, silence echoing. Linda, from her hospital bed, intervened. Tom, love them or lose them. Slowly, he relented, attending a family therapy session via video. Tears flowed as generational wounds surfaced. Tom's strict upbringing, his fears. I don't want to lose my kids, he admitted. Mike forgave, but scars lingered. Abigail, amidst this, accepted the fellowship. I'll commute weekends, she promised. Zoe nodded, masking hurt. The goodbye at the airport was tearful. Don't forget me. Alone, Zoe leaned on Sarah and her nonprofit. A new mentee, Jamie, a non-binary youth, reminded her of resilience. Your story saved me, Jamie said. Months dragged. Long distance strained them. Missed calls, jealousies over new friends. Abigail thrived in D.C., covering landmark LGBTQ bills. Zoe cheered from afar but felt sidelined. Then a colleague of Abigail's, Riley, appeared in photos. Arms linked, smiles intimate. Paranoia gripped Zoe. Who's Riley? She texted. Abigail. Just a friend. But doubt festered. The climax hit at chosen family's anniversary gala. Abigail surprised Zoe by flying in early. But Riley tagged along. I wanted to meet the legend. Tension crackled. During speeches, Zoe spotted them laughing closely. Jealousy boiled over backstage. Are you cheating? Abigail recoiled. No. Riley's engaged to a man. You're paranoid. The fight escalated. You've changed. So have you, clinging to pain. Guests overheard, whispers spreading. Zoe fled to the rooftop, city lights blurring through tears. Abigail followed. I love you, but this distance is killing us. They talked Raleigh, fears, insecurities. I betrayed your trust by leaving, Abigail admitted. And I by not trusting, Zoe replied. They reconciled under the stars, vowing better communication. Back home, Linda's remission brought joy. A family reunion in Ohio celebrated. Toasts, laughter. Tom pulled Zoe aside. I'm sorry for everything. Full circle. Abigail returned to New York, fellowship complete. They co-authored a book, Chosen Paths, Stories of Love and Loss. It became a bestseller, humanizing queer struggles. But life tested again. Sarah faced backlash at school, bullying over her identity. Zoe rallied support, turning it into a campus campaign. We fight together, she told Abigail. As winter approached, Zoe proposed during a snowy walk in Central Park. Will you build this family with me? Abigail said yes, tears freezing on her cheeks. The wedding was a blend of worlds, New York chic meets Ohio warmth. In a sun-drenched Brooklyn garden, friends from chosen families mingled with Harper's, rainbow accents weaving through traditional decor. Linda, healthy and beaming, walked Zoe down the aisle. Tom officiated awkwardly but earnestly. Love is love. Abigail's vows moved everyone. From that spilled coffee to this moment, you've been my twist of fate. Honeymoon in California sealed their bond. Beach walks, deep talks. Back home, they adopted a rescue dog, symbolizing new beginnings. Chosen families expanded nationwide, with chapters in conservative states. Zoe and Abigail testified before Congress on family acceptance bills, their story influencing policy. Yet life wasn't flawless. Mike's coming-out journey hit bumps. A failed relationship left him heartbroken. Zoe mentored him. Pain shapes us, but love heals. Sarah graduated, crediting them. You showed me family is chosen. A final challenge. Abigail's pregnancy via IVF. Morning sickness, anxieties. What if we're not ready? But support surrounded them. Linda knitted baby blankets, Tom built a crib. The birth was emotional. A girl named Hope. Cradling her, Zoe whispered. You'll always be loved, no matter who you are. Years later, at Hope's kindergarten graduation, the full circle hit. The Harpers attended en masse, cheering loudly. No absences, only presence. Zoe glanced at Abigail. From one graduation to this. The city that once rallied for her now celebrated her family. In quiet moments, Zoe reflected on the drama. The rejections, betrayals, reconciliations. It forged unbreakable bonds, proving humanity's capacity for growth. Love in all its messy glory prevailed.